On this edition of the CageSide Couch, I'm going to break down and predict the upcoming light heavyweight championship of the world between Sugar Rashad Evans and Jon Jones. You're on the Couch CageSide with your host Kyle Delaney from CouchFire.co, and upcoming at UFC 145, light heavyweight title is on the line. Jones versus Evans. We finally get to see these two clash in the octagon, and there's so much that could be said. There's such a backstory going to this, but I think the only thing that really needs to happen now is there's been so much said, there's been so much controversy, so much drama, that these two just need to fight. That's ultimately what it comes down to. Nothing else could be said, nothing else could be done. The only thing that needs to happen now is Jones and Evans need to settle this one in the octagon, and we will finally get this to happen come this weekend. So what I'm going to do in this video, obviously break down both fighters and come to my prediction. So I'm going to start with Jon Jones. Now, Jon Jones is a very young mixed martial artist. He's climbed his way to the top of the light heavyweight division in very impressive fashion. We're talking about a guy who's had a very impressive campaign over the past couple of years. He's beaten Ryan Bader. He's beaten Lyoto Machida. He's beaten Rampage Jackson. He's beaten Shogun Rua. So really, just defeating Rashad Evans will only add to that impressive resume that Jon Jones already possesses. And Jon Jones' skill set is very balanced. And for a guy who's come into mixed martial arts with a wrestling background, he's really improved as a martial artist. And his stand-up has continued to get better. Like I say, balanced. He's really got a good boxing and Muay Thai background. It's really, his ceiling is endless. Jon Jones is so young and so new to the game, and yet he hasn't even reached his full potential, and he's the light heavyweight champion. So the sky's the limit with Jon Jones. And his background, really everything that he brings to the table in the stand-up department. Jon Jones can use combinations. He uses and he fights his range very well. For a guy who possesses an 84.5-inch reach, a reach that nobody else possesses in the light heavyweight division, is a huge advantage. And, you know, some fighters have a long reach, but Jon Jones makes people respect his reach because he fights his range very well. He's a very accurate striker. He almost always connects with his strikes, and he uses it well. People respect his range because Jon Jones has been so successful with it. He throws leg kicks. He throws kicks to the legs, throws combinations to the body, spinning elbow. If there's any fighter that uses elbows in mixed martial arts, really the best of their ability, it's Jon Jones. Jon Jones uses elbows very well. His clinch is great with his wrestling background. He separates well with strikes. And I won't say it's so much his movement. He doesn't really move. He doesn't have that great of footwork because he's relied so much on his range and people respecting his range and being outside the pocket. But what we've seen in the past, really, is that Jon Jones has, I don't want to say struggled, but we saw against Lyoto Machida, guys that press forward, put Jon Jones on his heels. He gets a little bit out of his comfort zone. Jon Jones is a very comfortable fighter because not many people have challenged his range. People say, I'm going to implement the right game plan to beat Jon Jones. And Jon Jones has had an answer for that every single time he's fought. So he has been comfortable in his range, but the guy who puts him out of his comfort zone and presses forward will be the guy who defeats Jon Jones and catches him with that knockout power. But Jon Jones is, I don't want to say he possesses the knockout power in this fight. Jon Jones does have 8 knockouts on his resume, but it's more that he picks people apart. He breaks your will to fight. He'll destroy your legs with kicks. He'll beat up your body. He'll pick apart your face. He beats you down, and you have trouble standing when it comes down to the later round. So he beats you down. It's not instant knockout power, but over time they do add up, and Jon Jones does find a way to TKO his opponents. So he doesn't have that one-punch knockout power. He might just develop it in this fight. Who knows? But he does not have that one-punch knockout power yet. So that's in regards to Jon Jones' stand-up game. His ground game, a Greco-Roman background, collegiate wrestling, and he implements it very well in mixed martial arts. If Jon gets you in the clinch, he'll slam you, he'll suplex you, he'll sweep the leg, he'll toss you. And he's done it time and time again. And what allows him to do so is his frame. He's 6'5". He's got very long legs, and he can toss his people. He uses the size of his body very well, and he tosses you. And once he gets you down to the ground, his long legs allow him to have great ground control. People have struggled to come up from the bottom of Jon Jones. His ground control is good. He advances guard very well, and some of the most deadly ground and pound we've seen in the game today. He rains down elbows. Really good strikes from full guard. And on top of all that, Jon Jones isn't a renowned Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner, but Jon Jones, his submission game is deadly. He has 5 submissions on his resume. He can lock up your neck. He can get an arm. He could really do what he wants with his ground control. But can he do it against Rashad Evans is the biggest question. So that's what I have for Jon Jones. Just a couple things in regards to definite strengths is definitely his range. I want to say his experience. He's defended the belt multiple times. He's been here and he's defended his title quite a few times. His game plan, his approach, training at Jackson's is also a big advantage. I'd say disadvantages for Jon Jones is definitely the fact that if he gets put on his heels, if he gets a guy who can pop in out of the pocket and presses him forward, will be a big disadvantage for him. He tends to, if he gets out of his comfort zone, I don't want to say he gets flustered, but we've seen against Machida that he got put out of his comfort zone. He was struggling to strike with Machida. So that's what I have for Jon Jones. Rashad Evans. Rashad Evans is a very refined boxer, very, very quick hands. He definitely has the speed advantage in this fight. Jon has the range. Rashad has the speed. Rashad also does have one punch knockout power. He has 6 knockouts on his resume, and we've seen him do it in impressive fashion. We've seen him not TKO Forrest Griffin with some ground and pound. We've seen him with the deadly knockout on Chuck Liddell. And it has a lot to do with Rashad Evans does have quick hands. He's able to put combinations together. He's a very smart stand-up fighter. He picks the spots. He picks the spots very well. But what's the most impressive thing about Rashad Evans is his footwork. He's very athletic. He likes to dance. He's a very finesse striker. He likes to dance. He likes to implement some taunting in it. But his footwork allows him to pop forward in the pocket. He likes to pressure his opponents. And once he gets you on your heels, he'll connect with some strikes and he'll be right out of there. But Rashad Evans definitely is capable, I don't want to say of knocking out Jon Jones right away, but there's a possibility that he could put Jon Jones on his heels and put him out of his comfort zone. So Rashad Evans is stand-up, impressive, knockout power, good speed, ability to put combinations together, very good footwork. Rashad Evans is also one of the best mixed MMA wrestlers. Now there's a difference. Rashad Evans wasn't a really well-known collegiate wrestler. He had a mediocre record at best. And going into the Phil Davis fight, I was one who thought that Phil Davis, being the better collegiate wrestler, would out-wrestle Rashad Evans. And we saw Rashad Evans dominate an all-American wrestler in Phil Davis. Did whatever he wanted with him, dumped him down to the ground, had him in the clinch, dirty box. He did whatever he wanted. And Rashad Evans is a very smart fighter when it comes to the wrestling. He gives you multiple looks as well. As 1 second, he's going to pop forward. He's going to give you some strikes. The next second he pops forward, he's explosive and tries to take you down the ground. With a double leg, a single leg, he's explosive with his takedowns. He really keeps you on your heels, and this will be a problem for Jon Jones. Rashad Evans presents some of the biggest problems for Jon Jones in all of his matchups that he's had. And at the same time, Rashad Evans is a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He does have 2 submission victories on his resume. And like I said before, he's a very smart fighter. Rashad Evans always has a very good approach to the fight. He's a very confident fighter. So that's what I have for Rashad Evans. Now, just a couple of things for Evans is that his knockout power is a big advantage. His speed is a big advantage in this fight. His footwork is a big advantage in this fight. I'd say having a wrestling and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu background going into this fight is a big advantage as well. Definite weaknesses is the reach. Weaknesses also, I'm not saying Rashad Evans has a weak chin, but I'm saying that he does get rocked. Sometimes we've seen this in multiple fights. We saw it against Machida where he did get knocked out. We saw it against Rampage Jackson in the 3rd round. He does get rocked. He gets jello leg, but he does recover. But if you give Jon Jones an opening in this fight and you get wobbled, he will finish you. So that'll be interesting going into this. So just a couple things before I do my prediction. Rashad Evans has been saying that he knows everything that Jon's going to throw at him. And I think it's very hard to say that, is that both of these guys, not only Jon Jones but Rashad Evans, both of these guys have grown and changed as mixed martial artists over the year. So to say that you know everything and that Jon knows everything about Rashad, you have 2 different fighters. Rashad's training in a different camp with the Black Zillions, and Jon Jones has only grown as a martial artist. So I think both guys are 2 different, I won't say completely different fighters, but since they've been training together, they stopped training together, they're 2 different martial artists. They're growing big time. So that's really, I just wanted to bring that up. And really, if anybody is, I think Rashad Evans is the best challenge for Jon Jones going into this fight. He definitely presents the most problems wrestling and striking-wise. Stylistically, Rashad Evans does present a lot of problems. And also, if anybody is to wrestle with Jon Jones, it's Rashad Evans. He's the best, one of the best mixed martial arts wrestlers. And obviously, we've seen Jon Jones take people's wrestling games, make them look foolish, like he did with Ryan Bader, like he did with Stephen Barr, like he did with Rampage Jackson. He takes people's wrestling games and makes it look like you've never wrestled a day in your life. So if anybody's to wrestle with Jon Jones, it's Rashad Evans. So going this, like I said, Rashad Evans will be confident going this fight, but I think he will almost be overconfident. And I think his confidence will get the best of him in this fight. So what I see happening in my prediction, I see this will not finish in the 1st round, and 2, this one will not go the distance. Jon Jones has only let 2 fights go to decision. At the same time, Rashad Evans has let 9. And it's very tough to outpoint Jon Jones with his range and the way he strikes. So I don't see this going to decision. I don't think it's in Rashad Evans' best interest to try and outpoint Jon Jones. So the way I see this one panning out, I see Rashad Evans making Jon Jones look mortal. I see him maybe securing a takedown. I see him popping forward and putting Jon Jones on his heels. And this will definitely happen for a couple of rounds. But where I see the X factor being in this fight, I see Rashad Evans coming forward, seeing that he's taken a couple shots in on Jon Jones. And I see Jon Jones is landing a front kick, wobbling Rashad Evans, pressing forward, smelling blood in the water, and finishing Rashad Evans via TKO. So it will be a good fight. I think Rashad Evans will definitely put forth the best effort against Jon Jones, but in the end, Jon Jones will win this fight via TKO against Rashad Evans. And that's what I have for this edition of the CageSide Couch. This is Kyle Delaney signing off. I'm out of here.